On today's special episode of Homeworthy, we're showing you an incredible living room transformation in the iconic River Mansion on New York City's Upper West Side. The home was built in 1899 and is currently on the market for $24 million. Designer Timothy Corrigan worked his magic and took a once salmon-colored living room and turned it into a garden-inspired oasis for the 48th annual Kips Bay Decorator Show House. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more.
Hi, I'm Timothy Corrigan. I'm an interior designer with offices in Los Angeles and Paris. And here we are in the family room of the Kips Bay Show House in New York. Well, this room, when we moved in, when we got it, it was sort of a bright sort of salmon color. It had the architectural detailing that's here, but it was all one color. So we actually wanted to reinforce that by picking out the different architectural detailing in 3 different shades of paint. So again, you actually start to appreciate it more because of those details. We really transformed this room from a very strong, brightly colored room, which was a little bit overwhelming, into a space that was meant to feel much more like a breath of fresh air, a sense of relief and sigh as you walk into it. So it's all about these light, bright colors. You can see the curtains we did, which really reflect the outside and the gardens outside, the trees, the sky. So we alternated the blue and green. This is one of my fabrics for Schumacher, trimmed in this beautiful silk tape, which is by Samuel & Sons. Our first thought was really, whenever you do a show house, you have to decide, gee, what's the look that you're going for? And we decided we wanted this to be a room that was really livable, was one that you'd say, oh, I could actually see living in that room. So many show house rooms you look at, they're really wow and dramatic, but you'd say, do I want to spend time there? Do I really want to live there? Beautiful elements, but not livable. So we wanted to create a room that was first and foremost truly livable. So where we actually started with the room is with the wallpaper. And the wallpaper was inspired by a 16th century botanist. I'd seen in an exhibit in Paris about this botanist who did these incredibly detailed drawings and paintings of flora and fauna. And I thought, let's take those basic drawings and recreate them in this wallpaper, which I designed for Fromental. And what's wonderful about it, it's got this silver leaf background, which actually changes throughout the day to reflect the light, whether it's in the daytime with the green cast that comes in from the trees outside, or at night as it creates this sort of wonderful glow from the lamps in the room. Even though this is incredibly beautiful wallpaper, you need art to make any room really feel like it's complete. And this is an incredible painting by a contemporary artist. I love it is that it's an abstract landscape. And I think that it really works so well in the room. So this table is created by the Laverne brothers, and I think what's unusual is it's very unusual for their style. But what we liked about it was that it almost felt like the root of a tree. And again, we're trying to create this whole sense of this being a garden. So that beautiful root tree, and then picking up the other elements of nature. So for example, we've got these wonderful hand-embroidered bugs that are on these pillows, which again look like the bugs that are on the wallpaper. We continued that theme by other elements. If you look at the ceiling, where we've got these wonderful snakes that are exactly picked up from the wallpaper. So it's this layering of elements throughout the room that make the room successful. I think that the best rooms are ones that actually you don't discover all at one moment. You discover them over time, and as you're sitting in them, you start to notice additional details, and you continue to smile as you see these additional details. The windows are great. I think windows make any room more successful. And again, by framing them with this pair of curtains, what it does is it almost makes the window feel like it is the theater that's going on in the room. When I focus on chairs that are comfortable. These are chairs that I designed for Schumacher, and it's called the Wave Chair. You can see it's designed to be ergonomically so that your arm is actually cradled as you sit in this chair. It's a high enough chair that you can sit back if you're watching television and have your head supported. So again, I always think about comfort first and foremost in any room. You need to have furniture that supports you and is comfortable and makes you want to stay and sit in that room. I think plants in any room help make it feel more alive. So whether it's plants on a table, big plants like this, cut flowers, having that bit of nature in a room helps make that room feel so much more alive. Absolutely. The easier the better. And I'll tell you, I'm not opposed to having, if they're good artificial flowers, good silk flowers. I know some people sort of, frown their nose at it, but better to have something beautiful all the time than something that you do just on a special occasion. The millwork was all here, but it was all painted one color, so you didn't notice the detailing. By picking out the different elements in 3 different colors of paint, it's an easy thing that you can do at home very, very easily, very inexpensively, and it helps you start to create the drama and the details that you wouldn't even notice if you just painted them all the same color. Oh, it's a small thing that is an easy thing and an inexpensive thing to do that creates a huge punch. And that's something that's so great about paint. And again, here we painted the ceiling the lightest shade of blue. It's a little bit unexpected. You would normally think of a ceiling having to be white, but it doesn't. You can play with different colors on the ceiling and make it still feel special. I think the key things in looking at a family room is the selection of the materials you use. If you're going to have a glass table, a marble table is a great table to use because you can put down and not worry about leaving a marks. If you've got a wood table, cover it with marine varnish. That marine varnish does not hurt the surface, but what it does is it allows you to put a hot drink down without leaving a ring, let a cold drink down without leaving a ring. It's things like that. Using performance fabrics such as solution dyed acrylic, which lets you spill or stain and easily clean them up. So I think those are the sorts of things you want to look at. And then finally, I'd say look at proportions of furniture that allow you to really comfortably live in that room. I mean, if you look at this table, I can lean back, I could be watching TV comfortably. So you don't want furniture that you have to be perched on. You want furniture that you can actually live with and live in. And I think so that's one of those key things. Look at the scale of the furniture you're selecting as well. So what's so interesting when we got this room was this almost felt like another part of the room. You can see that it had these sections right here that were cutting you off. And then behind here were radiators. And so it was like an afterthought. And so we had the fireplace here, but why would you ever go here? There were just radiators. There was an ugly window behind these curtains that looked directly into a brick wall. So why look at that? So we made the decision to create these banquettes, these wonderful curvy banquettes that invite you into this space, invite you to come sit here. We then decided to drape all the entire end of the room in this fabric, which covered up the ugly window, but it also created the sense of coziness and drew you into this area where you actually would want to sit. So the radiators are under here. You can see, so there's still vents. So the heat can still come through up, but we created them by creating a box over them. So you can still get the heating effect, but you get the comfort as well. And they're actually nice and toasty when you sit on them in the wintertime. Timothy Corrigan, our belief is that every room has to be really comfortable, that the most beautiful room in the world is not really successful unless it's also comfortable. And comfort is more than just, is a sofa comfortable to sit on? Is the overall flow right? Is there enough space? Is the scale right? But equally importantly, can you live in this room comfortably without worrying about spills and stains? So we use a lot of performance fabrics, outdoor fabrics. All the fabrics in this room are outdoor fabrics, so that you can spill without worrying about living in it. All the spills clean up. The floors, the carpet is made out of hide, again, because it's about performance and being able to live in it comfortably. The fireplace was original, but we decided to, again, by just this, imagine this was all bright orange before, but imagine picking all these individual colors out, you start to notice the detail. You didn't notice it before, and it's this beautiful mantle. But then we added the mirror here and above to actually create the space and make it feel more open and connect this part of the room with the other part of the room. Because we're back in the alcove, and the fireplace is not really part of the room, and the sides of the rooms actually had these radiators, there was no place to put furniture in this part of the room anyway. So this was an afterthought. So we thought, great, have the fireplace. You could still have a roaring fire in it here, but now you actually can sit here in the banquette, and it creates this cozy little space to hang out. We put this wonderful table, which again we wanted to continue with the garden theme. So this was an outdoor table, and we put it here to sort of bring the garden feeling in, and then we crowned it with this tulipier, which again, during the 16th century, during tulipomania, the same period as the botanist here, a single tulip was worth its weight in gold. And so we thought, let's, rather than put in regular flowers, let's put in some real gold flowers. But these are not just any gold flowers. These are actually flowers that were created by the great designer Tony Duquette. He hand carved them all out of wood and then gilded them. And so they really are sort of the ultimate example of a tulip being its weight in gold. Our design aesthetic has been described as European elegance infused with California casual. So there's definitely a European aspect of sophistication and elegance, but it's also, there's a casual, more practical side, which comes in with the kinds of materials we use and the styles that we use in our rooms. My background is in marketing and advertising. I spent a number of years in advertising, running a very big advertising agency, first in Europe and then in America. And really, I learned so much in that whole experience, but I got so far removed from the creative process that I really missed it, and I wanted to do something else. While I'd been living in Europe, my apartment was featured in House and Garden magazine in the UK. People started asking me if I would help them, and so I started doing design as a sideline. And when I decided to make the shift, it was a leap of faith that I was going to go from the top of one career and start at the bottom of another. But I just knew that I needed to make that shift. This room makes me feel joyful, and I think that's one of the most important things in any room, is that you want to feel a sense of serenity and joy. Joy is something that's so important to our daily life, I think more now than ever, and you want a room that you can feel like, I'm at peace and I'm joyful.
Thanks for watching. For more Homeworthy content, be sure to like and subscribe.